Today we have a much more abbreviated program. I know those 8:30 to just after 5 o'clock days can be very, very challenging, but we're going to talk about innovation today. We're going to talk about social equity and community impact, and we're going to announce the Thought Leader of the Year. This is going to be another fantastic day, and I'm so excited that we get to share that with you. I'm going to call up on stage the founder of Z Prime right now, my dear friend, my boss, Jason Rodriguez.
Chris, welcome. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm still uncomfortable with the word boss, but I'm getting there. But
I led with friend.
Perfect segue into start with crazy. And ETS started 6 years ago, and it's very gracious that I saw Cheryl Mealy in here. She was one of the first or second speakers to confirm, and if I'm right, have spoken at every ETS. Maybe there was one. Yeah. But you might. So this was the entrance. So we had done one webinar, started off as a market research company, had never any intent or any want to do anything more than just look at data and tell you what data means and what you can learn from data, training as in economics and market research. So we got pulled into this thing to do an event and started with a crazy idea. And so what you see here is the end of the start of ETS, and that is a band that my co-founder Mark Izak recruited like 3 days before to march this guy into the Paramount Theater. You guys might know him. The really great thing there is what we learned very early in doing this is a lot of the talk was about Steve Wozniak and what he did in the entrance. But what I took away from that is was the night before, when Steve Wozniak came in, we spent an hour with him just talking, just getting to know him as a person. And he told us his life story, and he told us how to connect. And that's what I remember. I remember that moment. I mean, this is great, and it's funny to look at the pictures of the video, but there was this humanizing impact that happened, and we realized that you can really touch people in a very unique way using unique formats. So you go from being this curator of data and insights to this creator and this experience maker. And that's the Z Prime journey. And I think we're going to always be on that journey. And we're going to always, hopefully, with your guys' help and inspiration, always look at ourselves as that ever-evolving and transforming type of company. Because we know how hard it is, how hard the challenges are that you guys face. And we should do that. We have to do that. If we cannot do that, how can we expect 3,000, 10,000, the large organizations you run? How can we sit up here and advocate for that if we can't be a reflection of what we want you to be and what you want you to do? So this picture captures crazy perfectly and tells you a lot about Z Prime. Just if you look at it, not only is there a band, there's Mario Brothers, but if you look behind it on the stage, you can see that we actually created this little game. I think Stefan did it. And it was a little game. You can go online and play it. And people were playing it. And we did it all for this one experience, this one moment. And thankfully, all things came together. Here we are 6 years later. And it all started with a concept, an idea. But behind that idea, all crazy ideas cannot ever come to fruition without good teams, without people believing, without people being agile and learning. So I forgot what speaker it was. It was saying culture and a culture of innovation is not about everyone getting along. It's about everyone believing and being able to work through their differences and find common ground, especially through challenging and evolving times. You don't have to like each other, or you don't have to all agree on things. But if you can put your differences aside for something bigger than yourselves, then we can really move things forward. And I give a lot of credit to my young team. I am one of the elders on the team, and I look at them and the journey we've been on over the last 6 months, and just the way they've responded. They've been so positive when I think much people in that same situation would have just been like, no, I don't want to do any of this. You are crazy. But thankfully with Chris, you've got a chance to meet Dylan, Aaron's, Emma, and some new members. Probably Audrey, if you raise your hand, she kind of makes a lot of our events go. You see Liv's emails. There's so many people that work hard to put this all together. And bottom line is, if you're going to go crazy, you're going to do that. You really got to get your team on the same page, and we are working on that. We are a work in progress. And Arlen, your challenge yesterday, that was amazing. And like I told you, I was like, I really need to hear that, because we're pushing our team hard, and we're small, but we are ambitious, and we are reaching for it. And if we fall 1,000 times, we're going to keep getting up. So with that, we do a lot, and we're a small team to do all these things. You see us, we do so many more things outside of events. We have a research business, and these are some of our brands in it, a media business, which you'll see one of the beautiful creations here shortly about that with the video we're putting on. Last year, if I showed this slide, you would only see 2 events on there. We've added 3 within the last 6 months. And again, going back to start with crazy, if you don't have a team that's willing to pick up and do almost anything and put their differences aside, and even some of their fun time aside, then none of that can get done. So I applaud a lot of them for being able to do this and still come back and work 4 days, because we're doing a lot. So I wanted to point out a few things that we are doing as you conclude here. So City of the Future, we launched this in February of 2019 with an amazing partner, CPS Energy, and another great staff who is working hard and building an amazing culture to accomplish big things. And so we just announced that we are going to do this again in 2020 with a great party. Yeah.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, CPS.
And I'd like to give Paula just a quick second if you wanted to chime in on what that partnership and what that vision looks like.
When you mentioned it to me, you said 60 seconds, and then you just said a second.
Okay, 60 seconds.
Now I
There
have
you go.
45 now.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, look, again, our organization is 3,000 people, and our primary responsibility is to keep the lights on, just like any other operator. But Jason's comments about a small organization that works really hard, tirelessly, I understand what it takes to put an event on, and it's a lot of hard work. All of the organization, all of the scheduling, all of the thinking, while they're thinking about thought leadership, while they're promoting what we're doing in the industry that attracts more talent, more partnership, more activity. The point is that a small organization can give exponential value to a large organization. And so we are absolutely proud to be a partner with Z Prime. Here's the way to look at it. There's a lot of events going on, and I would tell you everything they do is just absolutely wonderful. But what we're doing with the City of the Future is we're trying, again, to bring it down so the average citizen understands the power, quote unquote, the pun, the power of what our future can be and how energy enables all of the things that they do. So we really try to incorporate people and their everyday lives about what the complexities, the challenges, and the opportunities are. And so we fire up San Antonio. We went and we did a little Back to the Future thing. And then we hand it over to here, where here we are, all of these diverse energy experts with a lot of like solutions orientation. And so the City of the Future piece feeds into what we do here at ETS and really think about the thought leadership that propels us into that next year. And so we started a partnership. I can't wait to when my daughter, became 10, and she says, I can't wait till I'm double digits. So I can't wait till I become double digits with you, and we're in our 10th anniversary. Yeah. But one down, second one to come, 2020. Look for it, and make sure you do both events next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. So that was February 24th, 25th. of 2019. 2 weeks later, our team, the same team, we didn't add folks, went to Redwoods, California, and launched the WE3 Summit with great partners, Smart Energy Water and Bridgewater Consulting. And I put this slide up here because I think it shows the uniqueness of the conversations we're trying to create. And this is, for the first time, actually it happened there. You have the head, the executive director, Carla Nemeth from the California Department of Water Resources, and Drew Bohan, he is the California Energy Commission energy director. And they had never been on a session together. And you're talking about one of the biggest challenges in the world. And you would think that they're in California, that someone had got them together to have a chat. And they said no. So we were able to put that group together. I'm not sure if Bob King's here, but he's in Austin, and he actually moderated that panel. He also had John Wellinghoff. But that was a great conversation. We started, it was only a one-day event, thankfully. But you were able to bring out so many insights in Arlen Orchard. Thank you so much, and Smud and Ashley Bowie Thompson were able to participate and bring that conversation to life as well. And so we were just there. And then 2 weeks later, we're here. So that was the event, and that's actually happening in 2020 in Los Angeles this year. Another thing we're proud of, and I think a lot of the core and the basis of what we do is research. And I think I will let Chris talk about this because this is probably one of the, if you saw it out there, Chris can explain it better than I can.
Thanks, Jason. I want to give a shout out to Aaron Otan, who's featured in this photo. But this is a project we created over the last 6 months, a digital maturity curve for utilities to progress through 3 stages of digitalization, and enterprise integration as we move into that new energy economy, that new energy future, the new business model for utilities to thrive and be successful and serve our customers better and create a sustainable energy future. And so there is a interactive infographic that takes a look at a ton of data of where utilities are right now, where utilities are heading over the next 3, 5, 10 years. And there's also a corresponding report to that. We feel that the through point between the water energy nexus conversation, the city of the future conversation, research and ETS is this idea, this confluence and nexus of great ideas of how we change the way that we are operating energy, that we are operating cities, and most importantly, serving people, the community, and citizens. So I hand it back over to you, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron drives a lot of our research and data programs, and all of you probably had a chance to interact with her. You see her on stage up here, but she does a lot of hard work and helps us aggregate all the data we're collecting. And speaking of data, one of the things I'm really excited to talk to you just for another quick minute is where we've just recently launched the Trends platform, and that's going to be led by one of our new team members, Anna. Please just raise your hand. She's a UZ Prime member based in San Francisco. And the thought behind that is pretty much what the graphic says. We're going to take all the insights that we have in the utility industry from all the data and surveys we collect, and we're going to use Anna's expertise to see what's happening outside of the energy industry, to see how these things converge and what is the impact on utilities. And you'll be getting a lot more information about that over the next 2 weeks. But it's a very exciting platform that allows us to take a purview of what's happening outside our industry and how the convergence of technology inside is going to impact our customers and your business. So we're excited to launch that. Now, as we peek into the future, and I know we're over time, but we're going to make sure the next session definitely gets their time. As we peek into the future, as I said, we're going to start with crazy, and we're not going to leave ourselves from that. So this is my 6-year-old daughter, Arabella, doing our virtual reality experience that we created. And as I think about the change and impacts we can have, I think about Arabella and then Arlen's grandson there, is that we have to be trying hard and fail 1,000 times if we have to, because the future that she's going to have, we do not know what it's going to look like. But what we can do is give them all the tools and the direction and training and engagement where they're at and how they do it and how they're going to engage. And so I wish I could have played the video, but I wasn't savvy enough to put it in the PowerPoint. I didn't have enough time because I'm doing too many things at once, as always, as my staff knows. But you could just see her engage, and you can see the video on my LinkedIn and how excited she was to do it. And that's the future. And so a lot of the apps we built, just remove yourself from the technology and what it is. It's a platform to communicate to someone in their way, in an engaging way, in the digital world. But you're doing that so they can be successful in the physical world in the future. And we are committed to this, and we're still looking and seeking partners who are curious and interested to use this technology in new ways. And so speaking of that, some of you probably saw the AR app that we just launched. And that's our good friend and partner from CPS Energy, Jonathan Tijerina, and with our two awesome AR and VR creators, Jorge and Becca. I'm going to stand up real quick because you guys have been putting a lot of work. I put this in there. There's other pictures that look much better, but I put this there on purpose because this is innovation as it happens in real time. It's not perfect. There's work to do, but we need to be able to show someone a concept, right? We need to meet them halfway and show them it can be applied before they can kind of grasp of how they can use it and apply it to their business. We took five data points using GPS technology, and they could tag them around the ACL Theater, and we're showing Jonathan that, and it's a gateway, it's a step to the next thing, and we all have to be willing to learn and try together because they could see something that we don't see. And so, a few more minutes. So as we think about where we go, we do a lot of Z Prime. At the end of the day, we're just listeners and researchers, and we like to tell stories, and we like to be creative. So as we've been on this journey and got to engage and meet so many amazing people and all the things you're working on, we started a startup event about 2-3 years ago called Start. And this past October, was it? No, September 2018. If you look at those folks, you might recognize a few. They're from Duke, Southern, Exelon, National Grid, PEC, CPS Energy. I think Paul Lau's in there. So we had this group in there. We brought them all together to judge startups. But in our third year, what we learned is that more and more utilities were bringing on new directors of innovation, they were scouting new technology, they were scouting new startups, and we said, we got to do something more than just bring them together for a day. And so through listening and talking to different partners, we had this concept that we're announcing today with Z Prime, Smart Energy Water, who's also a partner, and Data Capable, who is actually a startup in that competition. And a good friend, Shay from Veruda, is also going to play a key role in that. So we're calling this the Co-Innovation Lab. And this is a concept that we're looking to launch in October 2019. And we're still looking for partners. We're not sure how we're going to do this, but we know we need to do this because we constantly are getting asked, hey, what is A utility doing? What is C utility doing? And what startups are you working with? So here is the concept. It's pretty simple. We're going to bring all these guys together in a group, and we're going to focus on what challenges you have, who are you working with, and ideation. There are hundreds, literally hundreds or thousands of companies really trying to curate the startups, but we want to cultivate a network of end users that we already have and just form a working group around them and let them share knowledge and ideas. And that's our big crazy idea. I know I forget her name from Sidetracker asked, what do you do in 6 months? It took us 2 years to figure out we needed to do something in this space, and we're doing it. And we're looking for partners, and we look forward to launching that in October of 2019. And with that, continue to champion big, crazy ideas. And if you're looking for a small, agile partner who's willing just to try, we're here. We're here for that. And with that, thank you. Thank you for your time.